I knew I would eventually make this video. However, I wasn't too sure about making this because I knew it would rub a lot of people the wrong way. However, here are some reasons why I will never own a Rolex. I'm going to get right into it. And the number one reason is the reason why I will never own a Rolex. And that is because of Instagrammers, of people on Instagram who constantly are flexing their Rolexes, and they are doing this on Instagram, they're doing it on Twitter, they're doing it on Facebook. And these are not watch collectors. These are not the people who have been collecting watches, who owned a Rolex before the hype, who wanted a Rolex before the hype. These are people who only purchased a Rolex because of the hype. And the reason why they want a Rolex is because they know when they put it on Instagram, people will immediately know that they spent a lot of money for that watch. And that is the only reason why they're doing it. They're not doing it because they love the movement. They're not doing it because they love the look of the watch. They are doing it because it's instantly recognizable. They want people to know that they own a Rolex, that it's not only is it hard to get, but it costs a lot of money. And they have one, you don't. And that's really the reason why they want to do it. It's called flexing. I don't often use that word, but it's exactly what it is. It's flexing. They're showing that they have the money, they have the ability to get it, and you don't, and you should feel bad about it. Now, not everybody who owns a Rolex does this, but it is the one watch that you could absolutely buy that everybody will know that you spent a lot of money on. And the fact is, there is a guy out there with a Patek Philippe on who puts it on Instagram, and people will see that picture and have no idea what that watch is. More people know the name Rolex than they do Patek Philippe. And the same goes for Vacheron. In a lot of cases, the same goes for AP. So there are tons of better watches out there, and kind of brings me to my reason number two. There are tons of better watches out there for way less money. When I bought my Vacheron, I have 3 Vacherons. When I bought a Vacheron, my first Vacheron, I actually got it at a very good discount. And in fact, I was considering buying a Rolex instead. And at that time, Rolex hadn't skyrocketed to the prices that they are now. However, for a Pepsi GMT, it was around $15,000. And I was able to actually get my Vacheron just a little bit over that price, just a little over $15,000. And I thought it was a bargain. I thought that the watch was finished better. It just looked a lot better than that Pepsi. I really do like the Pepsi bezel GMT. I think it's a great watch. However, it is not a Vacheron. And it sort of brings me back to my point number one. People who see me wearing a Vacheron will never know that I am wearing a Vacheron. I am completely okay with that. I know I'm wearing a Vacheron. I know that there is one of not many, is what they call it. It is a very bespoke, handmade watch. Rolex are not. And that's kind of the third point here. Rolex are watches that come down an assembly line. They are made like a Swatch. They are a mass-produced product. And I always kind of liken them to a Porsche 911. Porsche 911s are great cars. They're very reliable, but they are sort of, when you're talking about supercars or sports cars, they are the entry-level sports car or supercar. Everything else is really, if you're going into the Ferrari, Lamborghini, and then the hypercars, that is sort of the beginner's level of the sports car. Everything else below that is, not that great when compared to the Porsche 911, but everything above it is just way better than Porsche 911. Now, what I'm trying to say is that Rolex make a great watch. They make a very sturdy, very reliable, very good looking, and very nicely finished watch. However, they don't make watches at the same levels of Patek Philippe. And a lot of people comment on my videos when I do talk about Rolex, and they say, Rolex is trying to be the next AP. That is not what they are trying to do. Honestly, I do not think it's Rolex's fault. I've said this on many videos as well. I think that Rolex generally have an idea of what's going on. They know what's going on out there, and they know that their watches are tripling and doubling in prices. However, they're not feeding that. They're not raising prices a lot because they try and sort of protect their business model. but at the same time, they know there is hype. So they're not raising the prices, but there is hype, and people are spending 2, 3, 4 times the amount that the actual watch cost originally. And they aren't increasing quality. They aren't doing anything better than they did in the past. They're keeping it status quo, but they aren't raising the prices. So they know that if the hype ever died, it would really hurt their business if they went up market and charged more money. Will the hype die? I used to think it will. I don't think it will anymore. And that is because we're coming back to that first reason again. It's the Instagrammers. As the world becomes more about social media and people, scrolling through Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, constantly looking at other people's lives and sort of thinking about what is wrong with my life. Why don't I have a Ferrari? Why don't I have a Rolex on my wrist? Why don't I have these things? And I think a lot of people sit around and do that to themselves. And I think it's just futile. You should not do that. Buy what you like, enjoy your watches, enjoy your cars, enjoy your life. Don't worry about the people that are on Twitter. A lot of the people that are doing these things are doing it for that one reason, to really just make themselves feel better. Not all, again, there's exceptions to every rule. And I always say this, not every person is doing this. There are people out there who love Rolex, who've been collecting Rolexes their whole lives, and it is a passion of theirs. However, some people out there, it's not a passion. Some people out there just want to put something on their wrist that people will instantly recognize. And I guess the last reason why I will never own a Rolex is because I will not pay over retail. Retail prices are skyrocketing on a lot of watches out there. Rolex have raised their retail prices. However, the retail price is not the problem. It's the price that you have to pay to actually get one. And I will not pay that price. I can't get it at retail because I don't have a relationship with an AD. The reason why I don't have a relationship with an AD is because I never pay retail. So it's really a cycle for me. I never walk into an AD and buy a watch. I'll walk into an AD and I'll try on a watch. I'll take a look at that watch, and then I'll find it on the gray market for 75% off, 50% off, even if it's 20% off. It doesn't matter. If it's a watch that I really want, I'll find the discount. If I can't get the discount, I usually will not buy the watch. It's just who I am. And unfortunately, that sort of prohibits me from actually ever buying a Rolex. Unfortunately, that is just the case. Now, I do like Rolex. I've said this in many videos. I had aspired to buy a Rolex in the past. I think I have moved past that now. I do have a great collection of watches. I love watches. I love looking at watches. I love feeling watches on my wrist. I have a passion for them. And I do like and appreciate Rolex, and I appreciate what they have done in the watch industry. However, because of what's going on with them, I don't think in the near future I will own one. And there's probability that I will never own one because of the hype, the price, and that's really it. I'm just not going to go for it. And also, like I said, the quality doesn't bother me. I own mid-range, I own high-end, I own very low-end watches too, affordable watches. I own Timexes. I love all types of watches. But I don't understand spending $20,000 on a watch that costs $10,000. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Go out and buy a Vacheron for a good price, and you're getting a watch that's 10 times the Rolex at the Rolex price. So anyway, tell me what you guys think. I know this is controversial. I know I'm trying to stir the pot here a little bit, but these are the reasons why I personally will not buy a Rolex, or will not be buying a Rolex anytime soon, or ever. But tell me what you guys think. I know there are a lot of people out there who own Rolexes, and that's awesome. And I do love Rolex, but there's a lot of problems. But tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog. I have some links in the description. Those links are to Amazon. If you click those links and buy anything, it helps support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra. However, I very much appreciate it. Anyway, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.